immediately. You can actually here it goes right here. Here you go. This right there. Ohio police and Trump still went on TV and said that in a presidential election, bro. That is a lie, a blatant lie. That's number one. Number two. Let's talk about. You keep talking about the Hunter Biden laptop stuff. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that the press were in these meetings. They were literally just putting a camera in front of the people that were a part of this committee of Congress, and we were listening to them ask questions. That is where we got our information from. You keep saying the press didn't push no Hunter Biden. No, this was Congress doing that. So if you want to go at Dems, like Dems for trying to hide the Hunter Biden thing, that was talking about. But it wasn't the press doing it. Only thing they did was put a camera in front of the people that were talking.
Okay, so this is all right, Dequan. I got to call you a liar now because at the end of the day, you know the narrative they were pushing. It was on CNN. You can look at go Google, look up YouTube right now. See what CNN was saying about Hunter Biden's laptop. They wasn't just a camera in there saying, "Hey, look what the Congress is saying." That's I could believe you, but I can't believe that because CNN was their directive, not just them. It was MSNBC. They were all saying the same exact thing about that laptop.
What they were saying was that you can't tie. Their whole thing was, why are you trying to tie Hunter Biden's laptop to Joe Biden? Joe Biden is running for president, not Hunter Biden.
So that the narrative wasn't that it wasn't that there was no
no. The narrative was Joe Biden had nothing to do with this. They were trying to protect Joe Biden, which they did. That's exactly what you even admitted at the beginning. You even said that you said it was propaganda. No, at the end of the day, what they said is still true. Joe Biden had nothing to do with what his son was doing. His son went to jail. Not only that, Joe Biden even allowed his son to go to jail. Granted, he pardoned him, but he allowed them to investigate his son. He didn't stop it. Right or wrong?
Okay,
am I right or wrong?
From what South Central sent me the other day, he didn't pardon him. He actually was sending me something saying that some people in the administration actually did the pardon and Joe didn't know about it, allegedly.
Yeah, that's what they said. They said he used auto pen. That's what Trump said. Because he used auto pen and Joe didn't know anything.
Because he wasn't, by the time the pardons was signed, he was not in the White House. He was on vacation. Who else signed it?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I have no clue.
No, hey, Cashmere, we good. I'm talking about the Quan.
He used auto pen. Every presidents in modern age use auto pen. That'll be just like if the next Democratic president come up and say, "Hey, all of these things that Trump signed don't matter because he signed it with a Sharpie." I saw him today signing the Department of Education thing with a Sharpie. Man, come on,
at least we know he signed it.
Dude, like presidents in modern time use auto pen. That is a common tool. Like not only that, Trump used auto pen.
When?
Look,
I know you like Biden.
No, you're saying that because he was on vacation and he used auto pen. Dude, that don't make any sense. Trump, do you really think? Let me ask you this: do you believe that Trump sat and signed? Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that Trump sat?
The argument, Daquan, this is the argument. How do we know he signed it? That's the argument. How do we know he did it?
But he used auto pen. What do you mean?
How do we know that he signed it?
Okay, so all right. So how do we know that Trump signed 1,500 pardons? Okay, there we go.
The argument is that Biden is incompetent. Even his own party made that. Right? Okay. They made that assumption. That's what got him out. That's what got him kicked out of the election. Who is signing his pardon? That's not the point. The point is this. Who is signing his executive orders? Who?
So we think first of all, but like I'm saying, you to say, all right. So Biden went and did an interview with The View after he left his presidency. He was talking. He was all right to me. You talking about incompetence? No, the most incompetent president we've ever had has been Trump.
Was it live?
Was what live?
Bro, there were two. Look, even with
what live?
Look, listen. Was the interview with The View live?
Yeah, it's on there. It's still on there. Yeah, you can go look at it on YouTube.
I don't say it's on there. I'm telling you this. Even with Kamala Harris, there's videos coming out where they have edited versions and they have real versions. Okay. At the end of the day, was it live? You can say Joe Biden was talking perfectly. That's not the Democrats' argument, right? Because how did Kamala Harris get in office? Why or get close to the office? It's the reason was because they found out they came to the assumption, we all knew this, that he was incompetent. So if he's incompetent, okay, great. You can say whatever you want.
They would say he was senile, whatever y'all was saying. Y'all would say he was too old. He didn't understand where he was.
To label it incompetent. So basically, how is he signing who is signing his executive orders and who is signing his pardons? Because when you sign pardons, what I've researched and what I've seen, right? This is Trump's argument. When you sign pardons, you're supposed to be in that White House doing it. How could you sign a pardon from Timbuktu in Hawaii? I think. How could you do that?
That's the problem that I have because you just listen to Trump, right? You can use auto pen like every president has been using. Because I honestly don't believe Trump sat down and signed 1,500 pardons. If you believe Trump sat in that White House and signed 1,500 pardons, dude, you on that juice a lot more than I thought you was. That's 1,500 pieces of paper, dude.
And let's keep it real, man. We are in a digital age. There are things that are done for show, and there are things that are done, in reality. And so I gotta agree that. Hold on. I've been letting y'all cook.
But you raised the decorum from presidents. You raised it, not me.
But hear me out. I'm not saying nothing down about a president. What I'm saying is the way that we deal with paperwork nowadays is very different. And I can't imagine that every single time that the president needs to sign something, they got to wait till he comes back in the White House. When you or I can sign something, we can start a business, we can do a partnership, we can buy a house, we can do all these things, land transfers, all digital. But somehow the president of the United States, with all the technology in the world and Air Force One, he got to be sitting down with a pen and a piece of paper to sign every single thing into order. Come on, man. Like, just common sense that don't even make sense. You wouldn't even say Elon Musk got to do that for Tesla. No one would say that for anybody.
I'm not worried about Tesla. We're talking about the presidency. We're talking about a very particular. See, like y'all always talking about me moving goalposts. Great. So my thing is this: as a president, right? And the argument of us is saying that he's very incompetent, right? He's falling on his behind. He don't know how to speak X, Y, Z, right? Trump is signing executive orders right now in your face. Hey, even with a Sharpie, he's doing it in front of you, right?
He didn't sign all of them in front of us.
I didn't say he signed all of them. I say he's signing them in front of us. My thing is this: when it comes to a pardon, I would even with I would expect a person to have real life signature. Especially a president. Yeah, we do everything digital, but there's certain rules and law. There's certain rules and decorum that they have in Washington D.C. that Trump is complaining about. So if it's not a thing to complain about, why is he complaining?
Because he's doing weird. Because presidents have been using auto pen for decades, dude.
But hear what you just said. Come on, man. You just said that. Hold on, let me make sure I heard you right. You just said that you feel like, for something like a pardon, something that's that serious, that they would have a wet signature, right?
Yeah, that's the argument.
Okay, so to Daquan's point, do you feel like there was a wet signature for 1,500 pardons?
Yeah, for sure. It could be. It could and cannot. It could be. So you telling me? So we making assumptions now. So basically saying, well, you got to be crazy for him to sign it. So
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that one thing that I do know about Trump is admittedly a showman. He's been that his whole life. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He's a showman. When he does things, even if they don't need to be on camera, a lot of times Trump is going to do it on camera because he's a showman. I just can't imagine that if Trump himself, Trump, the guy that they said wasn't even sitting in certain meetings, Trump, the guy that they said doesn't like to be involved in certain things, if he sat down and actually did a wet signature for 1,500 people, he would make sure that the American people saw every single signature.